All right, let's talk Nebraska Cornhuskers football. This is a program this entire offseason led by, of course, head coach Matt Rule. It's done a lot of really smart moves, has executed on a really clear and concise and effective plan to build this program the right way. And the latest news out of Nebraska helps further support this plan and this news that we've seen about the direction this program is heading in terms of their long term strategy. Let's get into the article, then we'll talk about it more in detail on the other side. This is courtesy of 24/7 Sports. Nebraska football made its presence felt with in-state recruiting stops on Monday morning with check-ins and some topic prospects. I think it's supposed to be top prospects. 10 Husker assistants stopped through Millard South on Monday to see 2025 tight end Chase Lofton. The show of force is the latest piece of momentum for the Huskers and the recruitment of Lofton. The 6'5", 200-pound Lofton was among the visitors at Nebraska's red-white game, getting time with head coach Matt Rule at midfield before the scrimmage. Omaha West Side and Omaha Central were among the schools where Nebraska showed a similar sign of force, with a number of assistants making the visit. This comes on the heels of Rural hosting a football youth camp at Norris High in Omaha as the Huskers try to further connect with those kids coming up in the metro area. All right, the key here, I think the key theme here is, that Nebraska and Matt Rule, they're all about showing force. They're all about putting in the time and the effort, throwing a bunch of coaches out there to try and get these kids. I think it's a smart strategy. Miles, I know you got some thoughts on this, but first, Nebraska fans, in the comment section below, as we work our way now closer and closer to the regular season, football is getting so close, right? We just finished up the spring game. We're only a few short months away from the kickoff. So let's get into it right now. Early prediction, again, very early, but Nebraska, give us your final record for the 2024 season. Regular season only. What do you think the Cornhuskers record will be? Really curious what your thoughts are. There's a wide range to choose from. So let us know. Early first prediction, Nebraska Cornhuskers record for the 2024 season in the comment section below. But Myers, give me your thoughts on this move by Nebraska and what it means for Matt Rule and this program going forward.
Yeah, and I think this is a well, I don't think this is anything different from what we've heard from Matt Rule. Matt Rule's been doing this a lot lately. He's showing that he's an elite level recruiter. We know why he's the turnaround artist. We know why he's been known to be able to do that because he does out of the box type of thing. I don't see Florida State sending 10 guys to a, three-star tight ends high school to try to flip him to get, the edge in a recruitment game. I don't see Texas A&M sending 10 coaches to a guy in the middle of Nebraska, three-star tight end, and try to get him to go there. But Nebraska, they're so dedicated to recruitment, development, like Matt Rule says. This guy seems like an excellent prospect as a tight end. He's got the height, 6'5", 200. He's got the ability. He seems very talented. He's a three-star guy, but I think, being buried at Millard South High School in Nebraska probably doesn't put him too high up on the ranking board charts. I think this is a guy who could rise up the charts a little bit if given the time, if given the looks. And he's the number 2 tight end in Nebraska. Matt Rule doesn't want to let guys in state go. So what does he do? He sends out all of the guns. He pulls out all the stops to get a three-star tight end. I think this just shows how dedicated that Matt Rule is to his promise that they want to be the number 1 developmental school in all of college football. He's going after the recruits and he's doing anything to get anybody. He wants to show everybody they're important at Nebraska, and he's doing just that here. And I think this is cool because it's not just this one guy. They did it like 4 or 5 times this week where they sent, an absolute gaggle of coaches to different schools all across Nebraska, just showing up, showing, show of force, talking to all the prospects, spending time with them. And everyone, it seems to resonate with them. I think everyone loves that kind of attention because how often when you're getting recruited, you have 10 coaches from one school come to see just you? That has to mean something. That has to, a kid feels pretty special when something like that happens. So I think this is just Matt Rule showing his dedication to recruiting, his dedication to development, and just showing that he's willing to go to the extra mile to get someone to sign on the dotted line. And I think it's going to work. I really like Lofton, and I think he could potentially be coming to Nebraska because of a move like this.
I'm going to paraphrase a famous quote from Michael Jordan. He said famously, if you work hard, you'll get recorded. There are no shortcuts in life. I think the same thing can be applied to recruiting. If you work hard, you'll get recruited. There are no shortcuts when it comes to recruiting. And Nebraska and Matt Rule are following that to a T. They are putting in the extra work. They're putting out everything they possibly can do. They're pulling off all the stops. And normally you see something like this with a 5-star recruit with the best prospect in the country. But Nebraska has done this with a 3-star guy that's a local in-state kid, right? You don't see this at all. Most of the time you get the recruiting coach and maybe the head coach or maybe the offensive coordinator. If it's a really big, important guy, you may get the recruiting coach, the offense or defensive coordinator, and then the head coach. And that's probably be at about 3 guys, right? Maximum. They get 10. That is absolutely bonkers. And then that right there will separate Nebraska from their competition. They're going to outwork and outgrind everybody for the attention and the mindset of these recruits. And if they are able to do that, everything else can be negated, right? This is how you overcome some NIL discrepancies. This is how you overcome other challenges, right? This is how you get kids that are potentially being tempted by other programs that, to be totally honest, are performing better or have performed better in prior years in Nebraska. You outwork your competition. It sounds so simple, but a lot of programs don't do it. And frankly, Nebraska hasn't done it over the past few years. For some weird reason, Nebraska coaching staff, namely Frost, it seemed to feel like he could just roll it out and says, well, heck, we were really good 20 years ago, right? Kids will still want to come here and play for us. It just doesn't work that way, right? You need to find what makes you successful in the recruiting game. And look, some programs, it's easy because they're winning. Some programs, it's easy because they got a lot of money. For Nebraska, they do have the history and they do have some money, but they need to find what makes them special, what separates them. And Matt Rule has decided that that strategy is going to be, we are going to outwork our competition. They send one coach to meet with a recruit, we'll send 10. They send 2 guys to meet with a recruit, we'll send 10 multiple times. And that is how Nebraska will win in the recruiting game. And if you win in the recruiting game, you win on Saturdays. It is that simple. It doesn't mean it's easy, but it is that simple in college football. The transfer portal is critically important and teams have to use it or make sure they don't lose enough guys to transfer portal. I'm not denying that. But long-term success is predicated on winning in the recruiting game, and Matt Rule is pulling out all of the stops to make sure they do just that. And I think the fact that his coaching staff is willing to buy in as well and put in all this extra time is a great sign, right? Matt Rule has everyone from his assistants top down to the players to the entire football administration bought into this strategy and this approach. And it's the smart strategy. It's the right approach. And if they can continue down this path, I think we'll see a continued uptick in Nebraska recruiting, which will result in a lot of victories for the Cornhuskers on Saturdays.
Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, email, home address, health records, even your relatives. It's all out there. That's why we use Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows us which data brokers are selling our information and automatically submits opt-out requests for us.
Cleaning up our information not only reduces the amount of that stupid spam we all get, but it also protects us from hackers who could use this information to help them access our social media accounts, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. Aura also does much more to protect us and our families from online threats. We also get features like antivirus protection, VPNs, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. That's really key. One location to get all this great stuff. It's really easy to set up. And the best of all, we get everything at one affordable price.
You may already have 1 or 2 of these tools already, but not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door wide open. Aura is always on doing the hard work of keeping us safe so you can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. We value our privacy and we also value yours. So go to aura.com/SMI college to start your 2-week free trial. Again, linked in the description below. Go to aura.com/SMI college to start your 2-week free trial today.